So I have a client that I was doing some photography for that had just returned from an African wildlife safari and done quite a bit of photography of various creatures out there in Africa. And here's a picture of a cheetah that she captured that she was very disappointed because this weed or stick or flowering plant, whatever it is, was in the way. And she had captured this image just like a minute before, and the cheetah had jumped up and was getting ready to spring into action and do something. It apparently had spotted something, except it moved right in front, and so, this in her mind was something she was just going to throw away. And I told her, I said, I got a feeling we could probably clone an area out of here and put it into Photoshop and paste it basically on top of this head and probably make it work, and let me take a crack at it. So she gave it to me, and we were able to do that. And the way I did it was I started with duplicating my background layer, which is, there's probably some things in here that are my workflow that might not be your workflow, but this is how I do it. So I started with a background copy, and I used the lasso tool to go in, select the plant, and do content aware fill both above the head and below. And then the next step was to go to the other cheetah and do a selection around the head pretty much like that. I wanted the top and the bottom and the sides, but I didn't care about the ear. And I do a Control C or Copy C, come back over and paste that in right here on top of the base image on a new layer. And then from there I blew it up big and did basically a lower opacity to try to find the right angle, and then go in and do Control T so that I could rotate the head various ways to try to line up the nose and the eyes and make them match. And what I was looking for was this corner and this part of the nose as far as making them line up. And I did get them there. And then I increased the opacity again to get it back up to full brightness. Do a little toggling on and off to see if I'm getting it lined up. And again, I'm looking at this area and this area. And if those line up pretty good, that pretty well tells me that I've got it just at the right size. I next added a hide all mask here, and then I just went in and painted in just this part right here, which was covered by the weed. I only needed to really worry about this section right here. And so the mask pretty much shows how I painted back in just the eyeball and the areas above and below. So again, not too bad. It's lining up pretty good. The head positions were not the same, but really a lot more with the chin position and the top of the head position, meaning a rotation rather than looking left, looking right. So it's miraculous that they line up that well. So the next thing I notice is that this part of the head is brighter than this part of the head or the image underneath. It's a little bit brighter here than it was on the image that I pasted on top. The cloned in part is just a little bit darker, so you can see some difference in density there. So I add a curves adjustment layer, and then holding down the Alt key, I drag the mask up to put it on top of here, and then was able to darken just a tiny little bit, as you can see here. And finally, I do a Control Alt and hold those down and then click Merge Visible, and I get another layer here, and that is basically a compilation of all the layers combined, where I then went in and got rid of this stuff and below. So again, not too bad to basically fix the cheetah image. As you can see, it lines up pretty well, and I would say the image has been saved. So client was very happy.